Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. It's your boy GhostGG, and we are reacting to Horizon Forbidden West, the first hands-on preview by IGN. The original video will be linked down in the description. Let's get right into this.
Horizon Zero Dawn introduced an amazing foundation to Guerrilla Games' post-apocalyptic world. Following it up is no small feat, but after 4 hours of hands-on time with early portions of its sequel, Horizon Forbidden West is shaping up to be a fulfillment of all the promises made by its predecessor. Combat is more complex, exploration is more freeing, and the world is teeming with more intriguing life, both robotic and human, and meaningful things to do. The Forbidden West in all its glory still waits to be seen, but I'm not forbidden from telling you about so much of why it's an adventure on which I can't wait to embark.
Sorry. So that's what he said. So he said the combat was more complex. That's exactly what I want. The complex was just a simple hit, heavy hit, make the machine stumble, finish it. Or with humans, like humans you never wanted to get in a fight with, you just want to shoot them out. And then the climbing and whatnot, the exploration, I didn't really like the climbing. It wasn't like, it was like sort of like nothing, right? Like you go up to a wall, you find the handholds, and you just point the stick in the right direction. That's it. And this one, it seems more like free climbing, like how like the newer Assassin's Creeds are like you can climb anything. Literally, you don't need to see some sort of like hand grab or anything. You just climb whatever. It's probably going to be in between that. You can't climb everything, but you can climb essentially everything.
My time with Forbidden West didn't start exactly where Aloy's journey begins in the sequel, but rather a little into her quest to find new answers and maybe save humanity along the way.
It's been 6 months since the events of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
And Aloy has noticed throughout the world that this red blight is kind of encroaching everywhere. And this is a world-ending threat, and she has to find a way to stop it.
The first big question I had when jumping in was how much freer exploration actually would be. Zero Dawn did many things right, but its climbing navigation was one of its most frustrating limitations. Forbidden West doesn't make every single inch of its world climbable, which may be disappointing to some, but it was immediately apparent and appreciable just how much more of the world is scalable, and how fun it is to do so. And it's made better by an improved focus.
Not everything is going to be climbable.
A quick click of R3 causes a pulse scan around Aloy, revealing resources to pick up, as well as, more importantly, highlighting climbable parts of the world. Another nice addition is the Pullcaster, a fancy sort of grappling hook that lets the player pull Aloy to harder to reach or further points. It's even something that can be used in conjunction with the Shield Wing, a glider Aloy obtained near the end of my demo. Launching off a point, letting Aloy soar through the skies, and pull-casting to an interesting spot on a nearby cliff face creates a real degree of freedom missing in Zero Dawn's movement.
That's so cool. Just know the game is going to be bigger than you can do those kind of things.
Forbidden West seems purpose-built to ensure that everything you do has more worthwhile and varied rewards. Deeper Settlements is a core part of Forbidden West, and if my time in Chainscrape, the first one I came across, is any indication, there will be a lot for players to find, discover, and lose hours to play.
We really wanted to improve. We really wanted to kind of listen to the fans and listen to our reviewers, and also based on our own internal feedback. And so there was a whole set of things we wanted to do with Settlements, including general sense of them being more lifelike, better animations, better schedules for the NPCs, and also audio. We really wanted to improve the sort of crowd audio in the sense that when you go into any given place in a settlement, it has its own kind of audio personality. And we also have a situation where Aloy's going in to the Forbidden West and encountering new tribes, specifically the Utaru and the Tanakh. And we really wanted to make sure those were as differentiated as possible with, you know, NPCs doing things that they would only do in that tribe to give it that sense of life.
The center point of the town, a busy brewery, had so many cute little bespoke animations of characters sharing a pint, laughing at stories being told, and more. But settlements aren't going to be just full of NPCs you can't interact with. There seem to be more side quests and worthwhile ones at that. There is also a wider swath of side objectives I encountered in and out of town, like melee fight pits, environmental puzzles, and even more, like an in-universe board game called Machine Strike that I'm already setting aside a dozen or so hours to lose playing in. And all of these
So
objectives don't feel like one of any open world's biggest potential problems: filler. Instead, narrative director Ben McCaw explained how everything is built with more and better rewards in mind, whether they be new equipment, outfits, weapons,
nice
or
color.
key pieces of lore.
It's great to have a huge open world, but if all of the activities in it feel kind of tacked on or not related or not essential, that's not a great feeling. We wanted to make sure that there's a certain path through this game where if players want to experience the main quest and kind of get to the end of the story as quickly as possible, that they could do that. And also, there's definitely a progression through this game that's really focused on combat. But if there is going to be an activity in the world, a board game, a melee pit, even a camp or outpost associated with Regala's rebels, or there are other examples, things that return from the previous game, they all need to feel part of the world. They all need to be part of the story.
Forbidden foes.
I enjoyed much of Zero Dawn's ensemble, but I kind of fell in love with almost every character, new and old, big and small, in Forbidden West. Aloy has been endearing from minute one, but Ashley Birch plays her with such a charming determination that is as enjoyable to watch in action as she defies bureaucrats unwilling to take action to get things done, as it is painful to see keep her at arm's length from close friends like Erend and Petra who care so deeply for her.
I'm asking nicely.
Arrest her!
I'd like to see you try.
So what we wanted to do with Aloy in the Forbidden West is just put her under as much pressure as possible. And so obviously she has the pressure of trying to resolve the Blight, which is a world-ending threat, and she has all the other pressures of like fighting machines and just trying to survive in this world. But she also has this other pressure of trying to live up to the example of her genetic mother, Elizabeth Sobek. This is probably one of the greatest people in history and someone who literally almost single-handedly saved the world. That's a very, very high bar for Aloy to live up to, and it affects her interactions with other people. It's also important to remember that this is someone who grew up an outcast and only just started to interact with the world as a whole in the previous game.
And while this opening section teased some of the new tribes Aloy will interact with in the West, it also heralded the arrival of her new enemy, Regala. And what an introduction it is.
Lancers! Form up!
Played with such power by Angela Bassett, Regala is immediately positioned as a force to be reckoned with, and it only appears to scratch the surface of her power.
Aloy's companions offer different interactions that display different aspects of Aloy's personality. And this is something that carries through the whole game. It's actually one of the major themes of the game is how does she relate to other people? How does she relate to her companions? How does that change her as a person? And Aloy's companions are really central to the story and the themes of the Forbidden West. It's really the way that she relates to each of them differently and the impact that they have on her that really forces her to kind of evolve her personality throughout the game.
Erend!
Luckily, Aloy has a few new friends and new tools and skills at her disposal to rise to the occasion. There are now 6 lengthy skill trees players can invest in based on their style. It should all pair nicely with the expanded arsenal of equipment and outfits you'll acquire. And in another nice twist on established systems, outfits are more closely tied to these skill trees, and some will offer stat boosts that can make skills even stronger. Notably, melee combat is also improved. There's a far greater fluidity in the animations and how they chain together, and it also seems like a more viable option in general, thanks to new skills like the impressive Resonator Blast. There will also be new weapons like the Javelin Thrower, while returning items like Tripcasters and standard elemental arrow options make a welcome comeback. But there's now a wider amount of those elements as well, including acid arrows that can be deployed with a precise strike to use acid-bearing machines' own toxicity against them. Machines, of course, are a major part of the attraction of Horizon's world, and at least so far, Forbidden West is still capturing that mix of wonder, awe, and trepidation that comes with meeting these creatures. There's a nice blend of new and returning machine types, like the acidic bristlebacks, returning scrappers and chargers, and even something new like the burrower. Guerrilla is clearly saving some of Forbidden West's biggest battles for players, including myself, to play through when the full game is released, but I did get to take on one of my most eagerly anticipated newcomers, the venomous Slitherfang.
Fucking snake, I hate snakes.
To To do so, I jumped a bit further into Forbidden West to try out its new arena, an optional area where players will take on various challenges, needing to finish them under a certain time limit to earn medals that unlock some of the sequel's best equipment. The Slitherfang, with its whole new suite of devastating attacks, is a prime example of the ingenuity Guerrilla displays with Horizon's
that like the
combat,
adhesive
coupled with all the
weapon
new
that, like, slows it
weapons
down?
and skills, which I admittedly was still just getting the hang of. Defeating the Slitherfang in time was immensely gratifying in the way taking down Zero Dawn's biggest foes was. But with new tricks
So
for
dope.
both Aloy and foes, these fights
the way
are
it
a
moves is
fresh
so
joy to
cool.
discover as I worked out the best way to succeed. Or at least survive. I played this particular battle in Forbidden West's frame rate mode, though I switched between the favoring resolution and
if it sort of
performance
works like
options
that,
throughout, and found both worthy of my time.
Sand machine that I can't remember the name of, those big ass ones.
Playing on PS5, Forbidden West World is a sight to behold, from stunning vistas with lengthy views to the enhanced
view.
level and amount of detail in a settlement like Chainscrape, to smoother animations both in and out of combat. Forbidden West is frequently dazzling. Appreciably, whereas Zero Dawn's conversations usually involve tight shots on two characters talking, almost every conversation I had in Forbidden West saw the camera pulled back more and let characters be more uniquely animated in their movements and facial expressions.
That's good.
About time there was something worth
Hated
looking at in
that
this
like
dump.
over the shoulder look, you know?
It's nice to see you too.
Thankfully, we're only under a month away from getting to see all of this play out in full, and my time with Horizon Forbidden West has me more assured than ever that Guerrilla has really refined and evolved the Horizon experience with Forbidden West.
There is an enormous amount of story and territory and combat to be had. But the slice that we did give you is really near the beginning of Aloy's journey, near the beginning of her sojourn into the Forbidden West, and also just the very beginning of her evolution as a character.
It's an easy comparison to make, but often an apt one. The leap here feels like it could be that jump from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2, which is saying something considering how solid Zero Dawn already was. But nearly every misgiving I had about the original seems to have been thought through, and then some. Aloy's new journey seems more robust and rewarding than I expected, while retaining the wonder and awe that its predecessor delivered on. I still don't know quite what the Forbidden West itself will hold, but after my hands-on, I've never been more excited to find out. For more, be sure to check out our Podcast Beyond conversation about even more details from our hands-on time with Forbidden West, and if you're interested in hearing about more PlayStation exclusives, be sure to check out our Art of the Level on Uncharted 4's greatest chase sequence. And for everything else in the world of PlayStation, you're already in the right place, IGN.
Let me see this real quick. Ah, she broke the acid thing on the machine. That's why I got covered by. I was wondering where that acid came from. I didn't notice it the first time. Oh. Okay, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the it just came out today, a few hours ago. And that was cool. We learned a lot more. I saw a lot more. Like, that game comes out in like literally a month from now, I think. It's 25th. It comes out on the 24th, I believe, or 25th. So, yeah, a month from now. I cannot wait to play it. I honestly can't wait. Hope you guys enjoyed this little reaction here. Peace out.